Good evening, my children. As you know, we are gathered here today to celebrate the life of Mario, who was taken from us way too early yesterday. And we are going to hold a funeral to commemorate his passing. And I'm sorry. There appears to be crying in the background. I can't really hear the crying. It's there it is. Okay, yeah, now I hear it. So to begin our service, I'm going to read two passages. One from the first reading will be from the book of Yoshi. I know it's very sad. All right, a reading from the book of Yoshi, please. This is a funeral. Let's have some respect for the dead. The stars of the seven are in the hand of Gino, and no smithy shall touch them. And their passing away was though a game over, and their going forth from us utter destruction. For if before Goombas indeed they be stomped, yet is their hope full of extra lives, because Gino tried them and found them worthy of Peach. And as annoying offerings he took them to himself. In the time of their visitation they shall shine. They shall judge mushroom kingdoms and rule over toads, and Gino shall be their king forever. And the faithful shall abide with him in fire flowers, because grace and mallow are with his holy ones. Our last reading is from Psalm 64, and then we have some eulogies from our funeral goers here. Psalm 64. He make me lie down in donut hills. He lead me beside Delfino Bay. He lead me in secret warp pipes. Even though I hop through the valley of the kingdom of Bowser, I will fear no game over. Thy fire flower, thy puppet hands, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my Koopas. My one-up overflows. Surely goodness and Yoshi shall follow me. Mamma mia. I know, it's a very emotional time for everybody, I know. Do we have a eulogy that somebody would like to deliver for our fallen hero, Mario? Finn, please, by all means, my son.
Oh, Mario, you have been with me through lands and worlds and galaxies and odysseys. A steadfast friend through all of life's ups and downs. And you will always remind us that that which does not kill us makes us smaller. Much like my heart is now smaller with your absence in it. Thank you for all of the good times. And I believe I speak for everyone when I say, wahoo. Wahoo indeed, Mario.
Yahoo indeed, my son. Yahoo. Katie, would you like to deliver a eulogy for our plumber friend who's no longer with us?
I need a moment. Somebody else is gonna have to. I just need a moment to collect myself.
I would like to point out, Justin, my son, why do you not wear black and mourn with the rest of us?
I'm a representative of the monarchy. Princess Peach is very, very stringent about, what we wear and the dress code, and I do not want to be joining Mario on this day. I'm just here to make sure he's actually dead.
My son, I will simply point out to you that this is a house of Gino, and the seven stars, and of course, normally I would damn you to eternity for such blatant disrespect, but since you are representative of our dear Princess Peach, I will overlook your impertinence.
You know what? I really do appreciate that we are in the house of Gino, because much like other religions, we fervently await his second coming.
Brittany, would you like to say something? A eulogy, perhaps, or do you just not give a shit?
I think I speak for everybody when I say that even if Mario is gone, he lives on in our hearts. And at least the best character out of the Mario series, Princess Peach, is she's still here. She's still with us. And because of that, hold on.
Wait, what?
And she will have
Wait,
me
what's she
executed
doing?
if I do not wear pink.
I have
There
my
it is.
Princess Peach crown.
Oh, look at that.
So
That's
we're
very
gonna-
nice. That's
I'm
fantastic.
gonna try to get it to stay.
That's okay. Yeah.
I don't think it will.
I don't think it will
but
either. I don't think it will.
I'd like just go. I'm gonna keep it for as long as I can.
Do we have any more eulogies for our fallen plumber?
I'd like to speak a word.
Katie, please.
I know that John actually contacted me prior to the service and asked if I wanted to speak about our dear friend. And I thought about, writing something and, making a whole sort of script that I wanted to read off of. But I think that that's not as genuine as just, speaking from the heart. I like to be organic. And so everything that I'm going to say, it's just straight from the heart and how I feel. I grew up with him. I know that I may be younger than some of the other folks here, but
Hey.
being such a, I'm sorry, John, I just, give me a second. He was such an integral part of my childhood, and he taught me so much about success and failure, and how even when you fail and even when you don't reach your goal, it is always important to try until you run out of lives and get a game over.
Very well said.
He also taught me to persevere amongst all of life's obstacles, whether it's financial hardship, not having enough coins, or thwomps. And he gave me one of the greatest gifts of my life, which was the sheer happiness that Super Mario Sunshine brought me. That was my favorite Mario game of all times. I know that people love, Super Mario Brothers 2 or Super Mario 64. I know that those are everybody's, that's the crowd favorite, but here we need to acknowledge how big of an impact that Super Mario Sunshine had on just gaming as a whole. And I think that's very important. And I am just sending so much of my love to Luigi and the rest of the Italians and Italian plumbers out there. And I hope that there is nobody like Bowser reveling in the loss of Mario. And we're going to miss you, buddy. We're going to miss you.
That was beautiful, Katie. That was beautiful.
That was
Thank you.
amazing.
And
Thank
I know that wherever he's at, up there in that extra world in the sky, after you climb the vine, he's looking down and smiling on all of us right now. As the head of this congregation tonight, I just want to thank everybody for attending. God damn, this priest outfit is really hot, by the way. Like, it's like, and I don't mean that like in a sexy way. Like, I'm sweating my ass off.
Okay,
in this
I was
thing.
gonna say.
Like this. No, this thing.
It's like, goddamn, I'm a bad bitch.
This thing is very, very warm. But it's the warmth. I feel like it's a metaphor for the warmth and from all the love that we all feel towards the Mushroom Kingdom right now. I will say that I think Luigi probably fucking killed him. I mean, let's be honest.
Wow.
Like
It was Gooigi.
was it
It was
Guigi?
Guigi.
Was it
It was
Guigi that killed him?
Guigi.
I could absolutely see Guigi doing something like that. I would not put it past him. Taking it from somebody that played the latest Luigi's Mansion, I would be willing to venture, and I really hope that the proper authorities, take the investigation into their hands. The Mushroom Kingdom.
Who would investigate this? Toads?
No, Detective Pikachu.
What?
It's all part of the Nintendo shared universe, man.
No.
Captain Toad's doing
You're not
his own
fucking lying. You're not.
investigation,
You know.
though.
Captain Toad.
Captain Toad is doing his own investigation.
It is possible that Captain Toad is heading up the investigation. Anyway, welcome to SDGC, everyone. It's Thursday night, April Fool's Day, of course. Mario. We weren't joking though. Mario is actually dead. He's not coming back. He died. And we have a. By the way, after
Can
that,
can we get some clarification why we actually did this?
Because
just so people listening aren't like, what the fuck?
Because it was okay, fine. So it was the running meme that Mario had died because they pulled some of his games off the eShop, and we thought, what better way to honor his memory than to hold an incredibly serious funeral.
Wait, they pulled all his games off the eShop?
They pulled like three of them. There's three of them.
The 3D All-Stars collection.
Game. Yeah. Well,
no, I thought.
No, don't forget.
Was it the anniversary?
Yeah. It was the anniversary game. Yeah, because it was Mario's 35th anniversary. So they pulled the Mario All-Star 3D All-Stars collection and Mario 35 off of the eShop. You can't play that anymore.
That's right.
Yeah.
35 years young.
I think that's so ridiculous that I mean, I got the collection. I bought it like right after it came out because I wanted to play Super Mario Sunshine, but I don't know why they made that like a timed thing. Like it didn't make any sense.
I don't know.
Right. That's I guess that's the reason.
Well, I mean, it's
hold on. CNN actually asked Nintendo if Mario was being executed, and they did not get a response.
Yeah,
that was I think my favorite thing that happened with it, because like so many people were making jokes about Mario dying. They're just like, wait, people seem really nervous about Mario dying. Nintendo, do you have any comment on this?
Right.
So we have that. And by the way, if you're in chat right now and you're not following us after all that bullshit we just did, I don't know what else to do to convince you. Okay. So,
I tried really hard not to laugh, so that alone deserves to follow.
When he said Detective Pikachu, I just lost it. I was like, all right, that's it.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
Take it seriously after that.
It's like the MCU, right? Like it's all one shared. Like Mario Kart has proved that. These characters are all existing in the same universe.
Are there Pokemon in Mario Kart, though?
There will be. I guarantee it in Mario Kart 9.
There's Pokemon in Smash.
Yeah, see, there you go. And by the way, that also means that Metal Gear Solid and Mario exist in the same universe as well. So
and Minecraft.
That's very true.
And Final Fantasy and Doom, whenever Doom guy pops up in Smash, as people keep saying he's going to.
Yeah,
John,
I agree.
I have to ask.
Okay.
I have to ask before we continue.
Okay, ask me.
Did you just happen to have a black coat and a white scarf on hand?
No, this is an actual priest costume I bought at Party City for like $15.
Like for this occasion?
Yes, absolutely. And if you think this is the last time you're going to see it on this podcast, you're wrong.
I was about to say he's gonna buy that he's gonna use that for future stuff. I already know.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, this is getting pulled out again and again and again. This is the last you have not seen the last of Father John. I guarantee it. So we have
Game Father John.
So and trust me, it's about as comfortable as you would expect a $15 Party City priest costume could possibly be. We have an amazing guest tonight. Somebody that I have been trying to get on the podcast for a long time, and we finally were able to make it happen. Katie, otherwise known as Pika Cholita on Twitch and Twitter, is a very good friend of the show, and I've become a great fan of the content she produces. Katie, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry it took this long to get me on here, but I'm very excited. I've been looking forward to this.
And I was curious before we get going here. I don't actually. So I stumbled onto your content because I'm friends with Khalif, and I wasn't actually I'm not sure. How did you get your start in content creation? That's what I don't know.
I have the most unimpressive story about that. I feel like all these other I hear about all these people that are they have some really touching, almost like a lifetime sort of event story. And I'm just yeah. So when I got my PS4 in 2014, I found out about Maximilian Dude. And I was like, oh, people stream their video games online to watch people play. By the way, his stream is one of the ones that me and my fiance will pull his streams on late, and I just fall asleep too because it's just so chill.
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, people stream like them like put themselves like footage of themselves playing video games on the internet. And I was like, that sounds kind of cool. I was like, well, I'm pretty good at video games. I love video games and I'm pretty entertaining. So I was like, fuck it, why not? And so
Hell
I ended up
yeah.
like, the
That's
first stream that I did was for Infamous Second Son because that was like the first game that I got with my PS4. So yeah, and then it just went from there. So mine's totally like not exciting in the least bit.
Yeah,
Like
but it,
like I said, it's not touching, it's not some in-depth thing. It's just I was like, this looks cool, why not?
no,
Now here we
that's
are.
no, but I'll tell you what, like that's a perfectly valid reason, and you're out here fucking killing it. Like, I mean, look how far you've come in those years. I mean, it's
True.
you're fucking crushing. You know, you've got, I mean, you've got
Um,
what, thousands of followers on Twitter and Twitch, and you know, you're doing you've been doing a huge. I actually saw you were doing a fundraiser for the Trevor Project this week. And
Mhm.
and your new haircut is fucking awesome, and just you're killing it. Like, you're
Oh, thank
absolutely
you.
fucking
Thank
crushing it.
you.
And
Honestly,
Thank you
when
so
I
much.
hear the word Pika, I think of you and not that little yellow rat. So congrats.
Honestly,
Take that
same.
back.
wow, I was gonna say, dude, you better.
I appreciate that, but like also take that back.
Wow, Finn.
Sorry, the only good electric Pokemon is Jolteon, so that little pretender to the throne can.
Oh no. Okay, I love Jolteon, but like, come on. Don't do this. Don't do this.
So,
But thank you guys so much. Y'all are
no,
so
of course,
sweet.
no. This is a great honor for us. And so of course, you know, there's been some big news that's happened in gaming this week. I was so worried leading up to today that we wouldn't have much to talk about. But a few big things have been confirmed this week. And of course, you know, Mario's death being one of them. You know, I'm so glad we were able to you know, give him the sending off that he so richly deserves. And my son was watching that whole thing, by the way. So I hope you enjoyed that, son. Um, but so we have two main topics tonight that we wanted to cover. And we're going to start with something that I think kind of bleeds into a larger conversation about games conservation. And that is Sony shuttering its PSP Vita and PS3 storefronts. So, and I think it's what, Finn, July something. Like, I know they're staggering it.
July for the PSP and PS3 store. The Vita store is going into August.
So right, and so all of those storefronts are going to be shut down, which means that you will not be able to purchase games on any of them anymore.
However, I think
will
it's very
still be
important.
able-
It's important to note that if you own the game,
you'll still be able to
you can
re-download it.
re-download it,
Right.
which for a lot of people was the worry, you know, because other times when digital stores shut down, that's a wrap. So that's some small solace.
So you know, there's been a lot of discussion about this online and what it means for you know, for not just games conservation, but content that you purchase online, period, going forward. And so from a business standpoint, like, I think this makes sense. From just a personal standpoint, I think it sucks. And I this is going to make a ton of games are going to disappear into the ether I mean, a lot of these games are already almost impossible to play outside of these services, like Vagrant Story, for example, old PlayStation 1 titles. And Katie, I wanted to kick it over to you and ask you, one, how have you been following this, and two, how do you feel about all three, especially Vita, all three of these storefronts kind of going away and potentially taking a lot of these games with them for future audiences?
Well, I will say I do like that they clarified that like if you have them technically like you purchase them that you can still re-download them because I remember when that was first announced, my first thought was like this is gonna be like PT.
Right.
Like once it's gone, it's gone. Like you can't get it anyway. So I'm glad that they clarified that. Um I will say, however, that I'm kind of with you on that. Like from a business standpoint, I get it because I understand that like after so long you stop supporting services. I mean, shit, we lost Flash at the beginning of the year, which is still so wild to me. Like I just still trying to wrap my brain around that. But at the same time, I mean, like you said, it definitely puts people in a position to where certain games are not accessible anymore. There's a lot of titles that were only available on like the Vita on these PlayStation handheld games. I know a lot of them are like imports from like Japan and stuff. So like a lot of like different RPGs and different things like that. So it's definitely going to make a lot of stuff like inaccessible. And I'm also curious to know like sort of I wonder what this is going to do for either prices at like secondhand shops or at places like GameStop, like if they're going to still carry this stock and what's going to happen like to these sorts of like prices. Like are we going to start seeing like scalpers or people that are going to take because this is going to be considered like classic gaming almost now or like stuff that's unattainable and inaccessible. So are they gonna like take and like jack this one PSP or PS Vita game because it's considered rare? Are they gonna jack that price up and things like that? Now, personally, for me, I never got into the handhelds. I still have my PS3, but I did not unfortunately get into the handhelds. But I think regardless of whether or not you owned it, that's still something to think about because I know people that still play their Vitas, and I know people that love their just the PSPs, the Vitas, all the PlayStation handhelds. So I'm just really curious to see, like, even outside of the actual like storefronts being closed down, like how is that going to make like how is that going to affect different places where like you can actually access physical copies of these games?
The prices for these things, especially the Vita, are going to go through the roof at secondhand
Yep, they do.
stores. Like through the and not just for the Vita, but for the already extremely pricey Vita memory cards. Um, those things are going to be so like I have 2 PlayStation Vitas. And honestly, I'm going to sell one of them to a secondhand game store after the store goes down and probably make a bundle on it. I say that now, but I'll probably give it to a friend because that's just I'll feel bad about it. But
Right.
yeah, and I feel like you could play all of those PS1 classics on PS3. So to have them not available on PS4 or PS5, like I feel is like makes this sting a lot more than it would in other circumstances. Justin, go ahead.
So, like, one thing I haven't seen mentioned talking about this is like this kind of just shows how bad Sony's forward thinking was back in like the PS3 era.
Yeah.
Because like the reason it's these 3 stores is these are all built on the same foundation. The PSP, PS3, and Vita store are all built on the same like service. The PS4 and PS5 stores are built on an entirely different one and had a move to a more standard architecture, which means that backwards compatibility is a lot easier to preserve. I actually am not expecting something like this to happen again for many years, but like this just shows how little effort Sony put into future-proofing things back, when they were making these decisions. It's well over 10 years and they're still getting bit by these decisions that they made when getting that store together, when making hardware decisions. Like the reason we don't have like PS3 backwards compatibility is because the PS3 is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it was almost impossible to program
for. There is PC emulators now that require massive CPUs to actually run. Like it just kind of shows like there's been a huge shift in how Sony has run its business, and I'm glad they're showing a lot of signs now of being a bit more forward thinking. Like people were really skeptical because of some of their phrasing and the way they talked about like PS4 backwards compatibility on the PS5. It sounded like it was not going to be everything, but right now it's down to like a handful of games. They've even fixed some that initially didn't work. Like it's like 6 or 7 games maybe that don't work. But like, yeah, it's really sad, and I hope they do find some kind of solution, because I think there's at least just some kind of market for these, and just getting them back up on the store in some way
right.
would go a long way. And like, PlayStation Now as a platform has been very stagnant, but like being able to offer like proper retro support that's not just streaming games, I think could be a very, very good solution if they could get, emulators running for some of these platforms, to kind of differentiate it from Game Pass, but also make it, more enticing for people that might have PlayStation Plus, things like that. Like, there's a lot of things that they can do, but we just don't know if they're doing. They did have a new patent recently for adding trophies to emulated games.
I heard about
so
that.
maybe
Yeah.
they actually are looking at some of this stuff. We just don't know.
So-
But yeah, like I just want to emphasize that like the era of PlayStation and Sony that made these things just were not thinking about the
Right.
future at all.
So I want to ask Brittany. Brittany, I don't know if you have a PSP or a Vita or not, but these are essentially like the Vita, especially, is just an old school PlayStation 1 era JRPG machine, right? It's got tons of classic, especially those old SquareSoft JRPGs that you and I love so much. If you don't have a Vita, is this kind of increasing a sense of urgency for you to grab one before prices go skyrocket? And two, do you see any net positives at all in what Sony is doing here?
So, two things. I don't have a Vita, but my husband does, so I'm taking care of that. The second thing that, before I get into the thing about Sony, the second thing that worries me about it is, for instance, like there are many versions of Final Fantasy VI, right? So when I wanted to play Final Fantasy VI and give it a try, I wanted to play the best version,
Right.
and the best version was on PlayStation 3. So that worries me, because they obviously haven't ported it to anything else since. Like it would be, as everybody on Twitter knows, it would be a great Switch game.
Yeah, I've
It would
brought that up
be-
myself once or twice.
Yeah. So that's the biggest thing that worries me, is it's not the fact that you won't be able to re-download it. It's the fact that I didn't download Final Fantasy VI until like a few years ago. It's not like I always just had it. I just had an urge to play it, and I signed on my PS3 and I downloaded it. So that's the part that worries me. It's like people aren't going to have access to the best versions of the game.
So our friend Candace in chat actually brought up a good point. She's wondering if all of this will push Nintendo into snatching up publishers and devs and working something out for a bunch of these games. I think you're starting to see Nintendo do that to a certain degree, because I mean you've got games like Legend of Mana and Saga Frontier Remastered coming out this year, which are pretty good PlayStation 1 era JRPGs. It's okay, Katie, it's no problem. But I don't think that this is going to, and I don't know, maybe you guys disagree, but I don't think this is going to I don't know, spur some kind of, or light some kind of fire under Nintendo's ass to get out there and say, hey, we got to get games like Suikoden 2 and Metal Gear Solid on Switch immediately. I don't think Nintendo cares that much. I mean, they haven't made a huge effort to preserve some of their own in-house first-party franchises. So why would they care about anything third-party? At least to the point where they're willing to spend a ton of money to snap these IPs up, or at least the publishing rights for them up. I don't know if you guys feel differently, say so, but I don't see that happening.
I don't think that push would come from Nintendo. I just think it would come from publishers seeing that they can sell this stuff on a portable system and releasing it on Switch. Like, I don't think that push comes from Nintendo at all.
Katie, were you about to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say that I don't know whether or not they're gonna. I don't know if it's appropriate for me to speak on whether or not they're gonna do it, but would I like to see it? Yes, because first of all, I love my Switch and I love being able to play things while I'm laying in bed because I'm lazy. But it would just also be nice to kind of get a home for like all these games, and plus it would help. I mean, it helps. I like seeing Nintendo win because I feel like when people do the whole like console wars thing, it's always like, ooh, Xbox versus PlayStation, blah blah blah, and then people leave out Nintendo. Like Nintendo was not like one of the driving forces that sort of kickstarted gaming. So I feel like a lot of times they don't sort of get their flowers by a lot of people, especially in this day and age, and people kind of like forget about it. And then especially because people kind of see Switch as like, ooh, the kids console, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. But I think that I think it would behoove them to do something like that, because I think that if you were like, yeah, you can play like games like Suikoden and all these like favorite classics that everybody loves. I mean, I feel like it wouldn't do anything but benefit them. I mean, even if they do have to shell out money for it, I mean, who's to say that they would not make that back plus more in making these games available?
And that's kind of where I'm at too. You know, I constantly think back to what Jim Ryan said about classic games. You remember that, Finn, when he said, you know, who wants, you know, I'm
Yeah.
paraphrasing here, but he
When
was like,
he saw Gran Turismo 1 and
who
he
wants to
went,
play that?
who wants to
Yeah.
play that when you have Gran Turismo 6?
Yeah, and it's like
And
everybody's like,
it's a
I want
pretty
to play it.
reductive the second he made that quote and then he got announced to be in charge of everything, I knew that we would never get Sony going the same path of Xbox. I feel the biggest not issue, but my biggest worry, and my heart goes out to all of the Vita developers,
Oh
because
yeah.
Vita was, let's be real, 80% digital. 20% of the games ever saw a physical release unless you were a limited run like special edition thing. But how many of these developers now, their only games are going to be gone for people to buy? Like there won't be, you can't roll up to a GameStop and pick up the bulk of the Vita library. And if you're picking one up now because of all the news, or you might have just missed it over the past couple of years, like a lot of developers are just their games are gonna become vaporware, and that's kind of a bummer for those people that have worked really hard
What
on their
apparently,
stuff.
so that's the other thing, right? Is that there are apparently like I think 4 or 5 developers out there who were in the middle of making a game for Vita, and this completely
Yeah.
blindsided them.
Yeah, Blaine mentioned it in
yeah.
chat. Like there's just people that, because it's kind of, there's just always going to be people. Vita means life. It has a very devoted fan base, so people were still supporting games released on it. And so you have these people in the middle of development suddenly being told, JK lol, we're pulling the entire support. Better luck next time. And that's a bummer. And this is coming from a guy who I don't really, it doesn't bother me as much because the staggering amount of games I did buy on the Vita and the PS3 and the PSP means that I will be able to go back and download them. But then you have to ask yourself, how long is that functionality going to be going?
Yeah, that's what
like at what point do they go, actually we're closing
because
servers?
like it costs money to keep that up and running, you know, like
Exactly.
it you know, like even if, you know, even though they're going to take the actual storefronts down to keep, you know, I mean, they still have to have backup servers somewhere that are housing those games in order for you to re-download them. I mean, and that's not free for Sony to do. So at what point do they say, you know what, this isn't worth it, let's just shut it down? And that's really what worries me. And that kind of is where I think the conversation kind of finds its core in that, you know, I am a big proponent, as everybody knows, of games conservation, right? Like there are so many games that I grew up on as a kid that I would love my son to be able to play. But I just have almost no way of allowing him to do that. You know, it is extremely difficult to get our hands on some of these games. And this is just one more instance where I'm like, how long is it going to be until more of these titles are lost to the ether? Completely,
Especially if you're a fan of more obscure games and
Right.
genres. Like John, you and I love our random Japanese games, and the bulk
Yeah.
of those nowadays are also digital only. And so again, unless one of the multitude of we put indie games on physical and release a limited run of it takes hold of it, who knows how many games we enjoy might never be playable again.
Well, and
It's
And
wild.
even those limited run things are artificial scarcity. Like they're
Right.
not
Right.
being produced for a long time. Like limited run games, like if you
It's
look
in
at
the
their
name.
own, yeah. Well, it's not even just that. They're like, we will never run reprints. We
Yeah.
don't do that. Like so even in limited quantities, these things are going to be
Well,
rare if they get physical release.
you know, I want to harken back to something Katie said when she was talking about, you know, oh, the console wars and Xbox versus Sony, and, you know, Nintendo's over here doing their thing. Like, say what you want about Xbox, but I mean, in a way, like Xbox is the only one of the big three that are actually taking games conservation seriously, I think. I mean, there are so many there are so many titles that are available to play on Xbox right now via backwards compatibility or Game Pass, or the cloud, and I feel like if anybody, Microsoft is going to be the company that I don't know, kind of drives the industry forward. I know, Katie, what do you think? How do you feel about that? I don't know how big of an Xbox gamer you are. I'm not personally, but at the same time, I really am. I am hoping that at some point Sony and Nintendo will start to follow their lead a little bit.
I'm personally, I've never been a big Xbox person. The last Xbox console that I had was the 360, but I ended up selling it because I just didn't play it a lot
Yeah, me
because
too.
I am absolutely, and it's nothing against it. It's just I prefer the Sony and Nintendo exclusives.
Yep.
That's what I grew up on. That's my, cup of tea. But I've never been like ooh, PlayStation supremacy or blah blah blah. Like I've never done that because I'm very much aware why people that prefer Xbox like Xbox, and each console has their own like selling points. It's just it didn't sell it to me in particular. I wouldn't even be mad at whomever like sort of acquiring some of this licensing and maybe acquiring the ability to sort of have these games sort of at their helm. And especially because gosh, I remember Xbox went through such a rough time this last like console cycle. Not obviously this most recent one. I can't believe we're in a new console cycle. I'm still stuck on. I have a whole PS5 yet I still keep wanting to say PS4 and stuff.
I
But
do the same thing.
like they were kind of in a bit of like limbo there because they had almost no like exclusives because they lost. I remember I was hearing what was it, rumors that was it Nintendo that was gonna, and I probably was totally just some bullshit, but I think it was Nintendo where somebody was gonna pick up Scalebound. I actually would have
Yeah, there
gotten
was a
an
weird
Xbox
rumor
for
about that.
Scale. Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, it'd be so cool if it was. But like, I literally would have gotten a Xbox just to play Scalebound because I was just like, I was like, oh my god, this game looks amazing. But yeah, for a while there, they really went without any exclusives and stuff. So it's like, and I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't truly kept up with like the sort of stuff that's coming with the newest Xbox. I haven't kept up with that nearly as much. Because especially now that I have like PC, I'm just overwhelmed right now between PS5, Switch, and PC. I'm just like feel like I'm drowning.
Yeah.
But even then, like I would not even be against them doing that because I mean we've seen time and time again that people love to have access to classic, older, even obscure games.
Yep.
Like I feel like for me, I didn't really truly appreciate the sort of love behind those obscure or indie games really until I got on PC. Because then I became like this huge like indie person. I love indie now. Like the majority of the things that I like last year, gosh, all three of my favorite games last year were all indie games. So which number one being Hades, of course.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I was gonna say,
Um,
your rampant dislike of Hades is well known. Like everybody knows, you just
Yeah,
can't
right.
stand that
I
game.
fucking hate Hades, right? Totally did not just get done streaming it. And I cleared my fastest run though of 38 minutes, and I've
I haven't even
gotten
played it
26
yet. I'll be honest.
cleared.
I'll out myself. I haven't even played it yet.
Oh, I would get it. If you would play it, I would totally get it for you. Like I am such a spread the gospel. I need that priest outfit now because I'm about to spread the gospel of Hades. Because I'm literally telling people like, I will buy it for you, and I'm like, Super Giant Games notice me because y'all need me to like. I got so many people on it, like just in tweeting about it. So many people tweeted me and was like, I started playing Hades because of Pikachu Lita, and I love it. And oh my god, and I'm like, yes, the agenda. Furthering
They
the
are
agenda.
such a Pyre was one of my favorite games of last generation. I
Oh
love.
really?
Yeah, I loved Pyre. Oh my god, Pyre and Transistor were two of my favorite games from last
I've
gen.
heard such good things about their other games that I'm
Oh,
really
Transistor.
tempted.
Oh,
Yay.
I've heard such good things about it.
Kate,
So
have
I'm
you not
like,
have
I've
you
been
not
thinking
played
about getting them.
Transistor? I'm gonna
That
buy.
was the first Hades.
I'm
Wait,
gonna
what?
I'm gonna
Wait,
buy you
you're
that
gonna
on
buy me
Switch. Yes,
Transistor?
on
Well,
Switch.
well, if
Yes.
you buy me Transistor, then then you have to play Hades.
All right, it's a deal.
All right. All right. I will absolutely play it. And that's like why? Because I was like, I loved Hades as much as I did. And I'm like, everyone's like, oh my God, then you love all these. And I've been eyeballing it. And I mean anything on the Switch is
It's real
great.
good.
Oh god, and the soundtrack on Transistor. Oh god, it's so fun.
All right, I'm gonna do it.
Darren Korb does fucking work. Like, I'm telling you right now, it's so fucking good.
I'm to the point where if I like Transistor, I mean, I've already kind of set on that with Hades, but if I really like Transistor, then babe, didn't you play Transistor? Yeah, my fiance played it.
Beat it, but
Yeah,
the game
he's like, yeah, so he liked it too. So
Yeah.
go back to it.
I'm like, I at this point, I'm like, super giant, take my money, right? But yeah, and then obviously coming into PC and then realizing how like a lot of people that have played these like obscure games. It's funny because somebody in chat right now is actually one of my community members, is Preacher of Your God. Like, he really likes those like platformers, and there's been a couple like more obscure titles that he's talked about before, and like even he's sort of like helped me realize like how big of followings these like more obscure games like have. And I kind of feel bad because it's like that wasn't really more obscure games weren't really my thing growing up with it, but I just see how big of like how near and dear people hold these games to their hearts, and I'm like, I hate that risk is being like the access to those games is being taken away. And just I don't care who, if anybody's interested in picking this sort of shit up, then I'm all for. I don't care who it is.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Me too.
As long as they're still available,
I mean, watching, my son has been getting into like, Game Boy Advance games and old PlayStation games, and he's 12. Well, he'll be 13 this month, which is a whole other story. But this is why Sony shutting these services down really kind of punched me in the gut more than I expected it to. Finn, I see you got your hand up. Go ahead, bud.
Yeah. Well, you asked the question earlier, do you think PlayStation will ever, pick up the charge Microsoft is starting? And the answer is pretty simple because it's pretty cyclical. If you look at the history, PlayStation 3 started losing rapidly to the 360. And so Sony created the PlayStation Plus program. Xbox One lost terribly to the PS4, so they created Game Pass. And if the Xbox starts getting a sizable like lead over the PlayStation 5, you're going to see Sony start to shift tactics to what courts gamers. It's just whoever is in the lead doesn't have to innovate about how to draw people into its ecosystem. And so right now Microsoft is crushing it, which I think is ironic given that objectively out of the big three, they have the least legacy worthy stable of games. Like there's obviously Halo and Gears and stuff, but compared to the legacy that PlayStation and Nintendo constantly forget about,
I agree.
I find it wild that Microsoft is the people that are preserving games the most. That's just
no, I'm right there
crazy.
with you. Justin, go
Wild.
ahead.
No,
Wild.
same, yeah.
I don't know. I do have some hope that, so Sony is very good at watching how the industry is going, and I definitely think that they see
Agreed.
how much goodwill Microsoft has been getting, especially from their backwards compatibility program and Game Pass and stuff. And Jim Ryan's one of those old school execs that just talks shit about whatever they don't have. So like he was some of the ones that said the dumbest shit about crossplay. We've got full crossplay now. Like and things like that. He's said a lot of things that Sony has gone back on, and he's even started to hint that they're going to be doing more Game Pass like stuff. They've been launching a lot of games. A lot of indie titles have been launching directly on PlayStation Plus, which is really cool. I don't think they're ever going to. They're not going to do stuff as well as Microsoft because there's a whole technological thing where Xbox stuff, there's more that like Microsoft can access without the developer than like PlayStation can. But I think they're going to start doing stuff. And I think they've also seen that like some of these patches that they did for PS4 games to make them run at 60 FPS have been awesome. Like, I'm sure they see that
Bloodborne,
when God of War got
please,
updated,
please.
people played the shit out of it. Ratchet and Clank 2016 just got updated this week
Ratchet
to run
and
60
Clank.
FPS.
Oh my
Um,
god, one of the best games ever. If you haven't played
Yes.
it,
It was
everybody
really
here
good.
just play
Ratchet and
it.
Clank is
it's
really
not
Maybe
free
you
fucking
have.
anymore.
good.
It was
I
free
knew we
up
were
till,
best friends.
Oh
it
no,
was
No,
free
right.
up till
Katie,
the 31st.
I have absolutely played Ratchet
Oh,
and
it's not
Clank.
free no more.
Yeah. It was
It's not
free for like
free.
a couple months.
Oh, okay.
So it was
I
free
was
for a
I
while.
was telling people to get it, but I didn't know it wasn't
That
free
game is
anymore.
it's like playing a fucking Pixar movie. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Right.
So I think they also have seen goodwill from, some of these updates. And I think we're going to see them slowly start to add some of this stuff in. I do not think we're going to see anything on the scale of Microsoft.
No, probably not. Probably not.
And then Nintendo, I never know.
No, Nintendo's
what
not
to
gonna.
think with
No,
Nintendo.
So here's the thing about Nintendo is that, Microsoft and Sony, and we've gone over this before, but Microsoft and Sony are competing with each other. Nintendo's not competing with either of them. They are going to do their own thing. They always have. And they are so hit or miss. They are so all over the map in regards to this shit. That I mean, you've got the Nintendo Online service, but it's really not great. You've got classic games that get re-released, but then they get taken away and never to appear again, as we just saw with fucking Mario. So Nintendo is way too erratic with this stuff, I think, to actually predict anything rock solid about them. But Brittany, did you have anything you wanted to add on this before we start to wrap this topic up?
No, I think what everybody is saying, it's valid. It's just that's always, just going back to the kind of the main topic at hand. Is that's what's sad about digital games and why I always buy physical and why I'm always going to be a boomer in that aspect, because I'm always going to have it. It's always going to be mine.
I've been thinking that myself recently, actually, because I am mostly digital. And this news has really, really kind of made me wonder whether or not I need to go back to physical media. Because
I love physical media.
I'm doing my annual Final Fantasy VI playthrough on Game Boy Advance right now, and I've got that little cart, and nothing's as long as I don't smash it with a hammer, drop it down a drain or something, nothing is ever going to happen to it. It's never going to go away. It's never going to get delisted, and it's never not going to be for sale anymore because I've got it. I can physically hold it. And
that's the worrisome thing, right? And I know we've talked about this before. Is it's like even games that aren't some game companies have licenses and restrictions with putting it on a store. So it's sometimes they just get pulled for no reason, right? Their contract it ends and that's it. So it's just, I don't know. I like having physical because I always have it. That always have my saves. That's me. That's all I got.
No, I agree with you, and it's really made me reconsider my stance on digital content versus physical
stuff. I want to say that I don't know about you guys, but I miss memory cards because I could just keep buying memory cards and store whatever I needed to. But I mean, I get that they make
take them to a
external
friend's
hard
house.
drives.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Or you could take them to a friend's house and and like I said, I know that they have external hard drives and things like that, but it's first of all, these consoles, they have, especially with these games like Call of Duty, they end up having this ridiculous amount, you just need all this fucking space, and it's I'm running out of space, and then I'm I don't want this external hard drive, and just I just when I ran out of room in my PlayStation 4, I just swapped out it to 1 terabyte. And I'm one of those people where I will delete whatever I'm not currently playing. But the same with the Switch, I had to buy the little SD card and do that because I ran out of space on that. But I mean, that's kind of the equivalent to a memory card essentially. But I miss those because they said, you could just take it. You could take it to your friend's house, and it was just you could just store infinite, not infinite, but then you could
just grab another
it was
memory
easy
card.
to delete shit.
Yeah.
Just buy another memory card, and you could see the little blocks, and on GameCube it had the little icons for the games for whatever game. It was the cutest
Some of them
thing.
had so much personality too, on
Such
the PlayStation.
an underrated part of the memory
yeah.
cards. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I want to real quick before we move on to our next topic. There's a lot of new faces in chat tonight, and I just want to say welcome. If you want to go ahead and follow us here on Twitch, we'd really appreciate that. If you want to sub, you can do that too, but you don't have to. We'll take a follow. That's good enough for me. But hope everybody is enjoying themselves. And I'm still thinking about that.
Follow for the bunny that you see back there.
I'm still thinking about the fucking
bunny.
Oh, there's a bunny. Oh, there's a rabbit back there. Look at. Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
I didn't even notice it.
him, guys.
I should bring Moo in here after we end the podcast so she can say hi.
You should.
But
should.
now I'm thinking about my dog. We did have another topic that we wanted to move on to, which is of course cyberpunk related. I was hoping we wouldn't have to address this game again, but I feel like this is newsworthy because apparently the multiplayer for the game has been canked. It's no longer there. It's not coming out.
It's unclear. Like it's really weird. No one has been able to get a straight answer out of CG Project Red about this.
Imagine that. That's weird.
What a surprise.
That nobody can get a straight answer out of CG
It
Project
sounds
Red.
like it might be canceled, but we're not sure. But like they kind of reiterated that, because they're next. Because this is something I mentioned a few times in regards to Cyberpunk, is that like not just like it wasn't going to hurt them just in the short term of releasing that game. Like they had really hitched their wagon to Cyberpunk as an IP, and we're planning like this big multiplayer game also to go with it, as well as expansions and all this stuff. Like they had years worth of shit planned for Cyberpunk, and yeah. So it's not clear, but they re-emphasize that they're changing around their workflow. And then also we're like, yeah, we're also going to change around our marketing plans and focus on all platforms a bit more and show stuff closer to release.
Maybe they should focus on not being a bunch of transphobes more too. But
yeah.
That's just me.
There's a whole lot of...
or portraying negative stereotypes.
Yeah, how about I still when they revealed those gangs in Cyber.
Oh my god, our reactions live.
Oh yeah,
was,
that was real. Like, was it like the tiger claws or something?
I don't even remember.
It was like the Asian gang was the tiger claws with a Z and a Y, and I was just like, it was bad. Like think of a stereotype. Think of a racial stereotype, and it was there. Like it was absolutely fucking insane.
One thing I also just want to add in that's very funny is they released this enormous patch. I actually read through all of the patch notes, and it took me almost half an hour to read.
Please don't read through them here. Please.
I think the best thing someone did was they took all of the patch notes and put it to a Star Wars scroll.
So just a brief summation is it seems like every single quest in this game had a progress blocking bug in it from those patch notes. And then also after all of those things, it ends with "and many more." So I don't, which I couldn't believe, but I also want to note that still, the game is not relisted on PlayStation Network. It got delisted.
Speaking of digital content online,
because of which, although that decision has not gotten any backlash, everybody's like, yeah, Sony kind of was in the right on that one. But so I had been expecting that this big patch was going to be where it got relisted. Nope. So it's just not viable digitally. And if you bought a digital PS5, you cannot get Cyberpunk still.
So I think it was Imran that tweeted out like, what comes back first, Cyberpunk to the store or the PS4 store closing?
So I want to, you know what? I want to address something that got mentioned in chat really quick, going back to the gangs in Cyberpunk and racial stereotypes, because there's something I feel like really, really, really needs to be said. Somebody mentioned the Voodoo Boys, which are one of the gangs that you will come across in Cyberpunk. And I just want to say that this trope that Haitian voodoo is some kind of death cult is really, really fucking tiresome. That's not what voodoo is. Like it's not a fucking this shit has to stop, man. Like
speaking as someone from New Orleans, that's all you ever hear is voodoo
it's
magic.
Absolutely terrible. Yeah, and I've actually tweeted about that because I mean, not to stray too far off topic here,
please.
but it was funny because I just did I actually just did a video for BGG, a BGG sort of thing where it was asking me like how, like, if it was the question was like, are you tired of medieval settings, and like if so, like what are some alternate settings you would like to see and things like that. And I I had obviously a pretty good segment on it because I have a history degree. So I was talking about like, yeah, I'm basically, like, to sum it up, I was basically like, yeah, I'm tired of medieval settings, but mainly because they're not completely accurate, because regardless of whether anybody wants to admit it or not, there were actually Black people in medieval Europe, and they weren't like necessarily slaves or indentured servants. Some were nobility, some were fishermen, et cetera, et cetera. So unless you're going to portray this accurately, like, I'm already tired of them in general because they never were my thing to begin with, but especially because they're so whitewashed, I was like, fuck it, whatever. And I gave some like different, like sort of settings that I would like to see, and one of them was sort of like a exploration of like African based spirituality that was not painted as evil. And then I was tweeting about it not too long ago because um the sort of like the running topic, at least that I've been tweeting about, has been like, why do we keep seeing Black media that's rooted in trauma
Yep.
because of the
Yeah.
different stuff that's been coming out and released? And I was
Yeah,
like, can
that new
we
Amazon show.
yeah, the new Amazon horror. And I'm like, why can't we
Yep.
just get like regular horror like everybody else? And um then I had mentioned, I was like, on the flip side of that, I said, can we get like a mention of like, hoodoo slash voodoo that is not painting it as like this evil satanic sort of like entity and this thing. And it's just so tiring because it's just like, I mean, if we're gonna be honest, like, fuck, do we not see like no, we didn't see in Cyberpunk a gang of fucking, no offense to you, Father John, but we didn't see a gang of we didn't see a gang of Catholic priests that was going around the street touching little boys, but that's a whole other topic.
I just want to point out,
Because I play
for
video
everybody
games to
listening.
escape
wrong.
from
I just
reality,
want to point
okay?
out to everybody who is new here, I am not actually a Catholic priest. I'm just playing one for Mario's funeral. But
You know
not
what? I
actually
really
a
wanna
priest.
John, I want to make the most random tangent.
I'm not even a
aside,
Christian, so
because shout out to the new comic book Strange Academy from Marvel, because that's the story of Doctor Strange training a whole new generation of young magic users, and they actually have a voodoo using young character, and it's not treated as like some crazy
Ooh,
cult thing. It's kind of awesome. So
I'm gonna have to look into that.
That-
just an aside, just throwing that out there.
yeah, like I
Please
Okay.
continue.
so I kind of derailed the conversation. I'm sorry, but I saw the Voodoo Boys get brought up, and like we hadn't talked about it when we were talking about all the gangs before, and I think it bears mentioning that the trope of voodoo witch doctors with skulls painted on their faces and casting curses on people, that's not what voodoo is. It's not anywhere near what voodoo is.
I think it's.
and
I don't think you should ever apologize to bringing awareness to those type of situations.
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely not.
I just
for sure.
that
You have so much to apologize for, John.
Silent-
That's not one of them.
I know, yeah, I know,
But it's so funny because we were sitting here talking about like Cyberpunk and stuff, and talking about like the multiplayer, and I honestly forgot that there was even supposed to be a multiplayer.
I did.
Somebody else said that in chat too. They're like, they were supposed to have multiplayer, and I was like, right.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be launching alongside the game. It wasn't clear if it was going to be a standalone game or an expansion.
I legit
something.
forgot about the game.
But
so.
they straight up were like, but yeah, they were like, yeah, there's going to be an extensive multiplayer Cyberpunk.
So why?
experience.
Like so I have not played Cyberpunk. I don't intend to play Cyberpunk. I have no interest in it, right? So, but seeing as how the game is incredibly story driven, like it's a story driven role playing game. How does multiplayer even work? Like what? Like how do you do multiplayer in that world? Like,
I mean, it'd probably be a separate thing like GTA Online or like the FF15 Comrades thing.
Oh, we don't talk about Final Fantasy 15 Comrades here, man. That was bad. That was real bad. But that was so fucking terrible. As somebody who loved Final Fantasy 15, I hated Comrades so fucking much. Yeah, Comrades.
I'm being good. I'm not saying
wondering,
anything. Do you see me not saying anything about Final Fantasy 15. I'm
We're
being
Do you
very
wanna-
very good
proud of
tonight.
What, Brittany? Is there something you'd like to say about Final Fantasy
Nope.
15?
I'm
'Cause
not going on that tangent.
No, Brittany,
Next.
Brittany. As you can see, I am wearing a priest vestments. It's confession time. So if you would like to confess your
I'm
sins,
not Catholic, so
if you want, well, neither
thank
am
you,
I. But
next.
who cares? But but at any
Moving
rate,
on.
at any rate, yeah, no, we still haven't even got the PS5 and Xbox One X, or Xbox Series X versions. The fucking Xbox naming conventions. God damn it, I hate them. The PS5 and the
Same.
Xbox Series X versions. There's no. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's no actual release date.
Second
For
half
those-
of the year.
Second
is
half of the
all
year.
that
Do
know.
we actually think it's going to hit that?
No.
I think it'll be
No?
late this year, but I think they'll hit it.
Which
This is
Um,
for Cyberpunk on the newer consoles.
Yeah.
I think it'll. I don't know, because the January patch just dropped in late March.
No, the January patch was in January.
But this
Was
isn't.
it?
But hold on.
This is the February patch that dropped. But that I'll give them some leeway with that because they were actually impacted by that hack, that ransomware hack that implemented people's ability to work. So, little leeway on that
so.
one.
But let me ask.
Well, maybe. Never mind.
No, Britt. No, Britt. Go ahead. No, Britt. I want to hear it. Brittany, I want to hear it.
I'm just being sassy tonight.
No, that's
why
what we
I'm
need.
stopping myself.
No, Britt. That's what we need. What?
I mean, I feel
So-
like to tell you the truth, anything this could be directed at Cyberpunk, you have every right to be sassy. So by all
Yes.
means.
I was gonna say maybe if they completed the game, they wouldn't have to worry about going back and worrying about hacks to make the game better because they wouldn't be doing it right now. They would be releasing a complete game.
Absolute facts.
So, Cyberpunk has had a troubled existence ever since it released, right? Like, and these are all problems that are of CDPR's making. Period. Right? With the exception of that hack, Justin. Like, these are all issues that CDPR brought upon themselves.
I won't disagree there.
Yeah,
I just feel really bad for the CDPR developers that have been slaving away trying to fix this game, and now who knows how hard they've had to crunch even since release. And then there was the hack that made their day-to-day work even harder. I feel so bad for a lot of the people working there.
That's been like how it is for me, because I mean, don't get me wrong, there's so many things that were wrong with, because I was one of the people when Cyberpunk first got announced. I was like super excited about it, and then I heard about like the transphobia shit and the things like that, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna get it. And then there was just so like it, because I'm at the point in my life now where there's so many games that I have access to now, because like I said, I have PlayStation, I have PC, I have Switch. I'm not crying if I have to miss out on one. Like, I will be okay. I'm literally drowning in games to play right now. So I was like, when the whole like issue with the transphobia and stuff happened, and like the shitty jokes on Twitter and like all that, I was just like, just as time went on, I just sort of lost my motivation to get it. And then just with the crunch stuff came out, and I was just like, yeah, that just solidified it for me. So then I canceled my Amazon pre-order, and that was that. And then it became like the people that were getting it were so like insufferable. And
God, yeah.
like, if you just tweeted that you just like, you literally could just, because I think that happened to Zombie. I really think that happened to Zombie, where she was like,
Yeah,
she just literally tweeted, I'm not getting Cyberpunk. And then she had like people attacking her. And I'm like, God forbid, I don't want to get the same fucking game that you get. And
Yeah.
it was just like, and I'm sorry, that sort of stuff will ruin stuff for me. So I was like, yeah, fuck that. I'm not getting it. And I was just like, I was so ready. I wasn't just wanting them to fail, but I was just so ready for the launch to be done, because I was like, I feel like this was the most annoying launch. There's a cat tail. I feel like this was the most annoying launch. And oh my gosh, a fluffy black cat. Oh, I love black kitties.
Oh, I'm
bless
sorry.
you. Oh, you're getting allergic from a distance.
I am actually allergic to cats.
Allergic by proxy.
I love that cat.
Sorry,
but
I didn't mean to distract you. I was
no, you're good. I love animals. As you can see, I got a whole
no,
rabbit
yeah.
back there.
I was much the same way. In the lead up, like when the game was first announced back in what 2013,
13 or
2012?
14.
Yeah, it was a
long,
long
guys.
fucking time ago.
It was 8 years between announcement and release. I was really excited for it, and then like before everything else came out, just nothing they showed from it felt like that initial pitch or what I wanted from the game. And thankfully that like kind of stemmed my excitement for the game. And then everything else came out and I'm like, no. But like
So the thing
it's
that
just so
like
wild to think back, like the sheer amount of excitement for that game, like especially like in August of like last year, like late summer was when I remember it really hitting like fever pitch.
Yeah.
And like going back, like could you imagine going back and telling someone that it would be removed from being able to be purchased on PlayStation Network? And not just that, but no one would care.
Is
No
it-
one's even upset about
No,
that.
and
like nobody talks about the game unless, you know, CDPR opens its mouth and puts its foot in it again.
is it still
there's no
not?
change.org
wait,
campaigns
hold
to
on.
get it back on the store.
Hold on. Is it still not back up on on PlayStation
No.
Network?
No.
Mm-mm.
No,
Without
that's what I was
and no
talking about at the
date.
Yeah,
beginning.
we were talking about that
Yeah,
earlier.
that's
Well,
what he was saying earlier.
It's been months. It's been like 4 months.
Oh no!
You
Oh,
cannot buy
I
it on
misunderstood.
PlayStation
I
Network.
misunderstood what you said. So the PS5
It's still
version
not
coming
there.
out. So hold on a minute. The PS5 is that a separate game or is it just a patch for the PS4 version that upgrades it and makes it playable
Well,
on PS5?
the way it's so the game already has like one of those weird in between kind of patches where, or not patch, but like it runs at 60 FPS on PS5 at PS4 Pro setting. It's not it's through backwards compatibility. It's not an actual PS5 next gen version. So it's like if you play like Days Gone or Ratchet and Clank or God of War on PS5, they're still the PS4 game. They just run at 60 FPS. And you can still have it on an external hard drive and everything because it's a PS4 game. It's not fully like using PS5 power and features. But yes, it still is not available. And honestly, I do not, at this point, if this patch didn't bring it back to the store, I do not think it's coming back until the PS5 version is
What if
released.
the PS5 version releases, but the PS4 version just never comes back?
Yeah.
What if?
I could honestly, I could see that happening.
That might actually make sense to do.
Yeah, because I like as much disdain I have for the game and the stances it takes, like some of the biggest laughs I had last year were watching video compilations of all the fucking bugs in that game. I mean, holy shit.
God.
Holy shit.
They had me in fucking tears.
Katie, there's one of them where there's like a big car crash and then you see this naked dude standing with his hands on his hips on top of a car and he screams out something like Geronimo or something and then blows up. And
no, that's the one that had me crying.
Is-
It's the one where he gets out the car as it's flipped on the side and he says hola and then
yes, that's what it is.
fucking explodes. I was inconsolable.
Yes, that's what it was. Oh my god.
Inconsolable.
Oh my god. The fucking like
Shit was hilarious.
there was one where you sat down in the car next to Keanu Reeves and everything outside of the car is getting all fucked up slowly and Keanu just slowly looks at you and he's like, it's like a nightmare. And then I'm just like, holy shit. Like, I'm like, yeah, you said it. You said it, Johnny Silverhand. You said it. It sure is.
There's so much that can be said about that fucking game, but I will give it credit for giving me laughs.
Like
that much I will.
The glitches outside of the car are literally tearing the world to shreds. And he just looks at you and goes, it's like a nightmare. And I'm like, yep. It really fucking is, dude. It really is.
Little on the nose.
But yeah, no, I actually, like, I joke about it, but at the same time, it's like, I can totally see the PS4 version just never fucking coming back. And them just rolling the PS5 version out and not even saying anything, just doing it. And because like you guys said, like nobody cared. Nobody cared. And Do you guys think that when they roll the PS5 version out, do you think anybody's going to care about that?
Some people will.
That's the thing, right? I mean, there will obviously be some people, but for the most part, by the time it comes out, we'll have actual PS5 games that people have been excited about coming out. And it's just that ship might have sailed.
That's what I'm wondering too. I'm wondering.
I mean,
if...
people.
Go ahead.
Just one last thing to like kind of wrap this up is like people are saying that this game's still selling a bit on PC, but like the console sales have completely fallen off. It seems like CD Projekt Red really lost the console audience on this one.
Well, the game was running it was running bad on PC too, right? Like it was completely bug
unless you had a
PC.
super high end rig.
And didn't they have notes?
Yeah, that was like the only defense that they had was, well, if you play on PC.
Didn't they have notes next to the didn't they have like, so in the patch notes that were released today, didn't they have notes that straight up said like, oh, I guess we missed that one? Like it was, or was it the patch notes that fixed the game in February? But there was a series of patch notes that came out where you could see the CD Projekt Red developers' actual notes in the patch notes talking about how bad.
I think that was something else.
You know what I'm talking about, though. Like,
I know what you're talking about.
There
but
were
I'm not sure.
I'm
not sure if it was. I'm not sure if it was this game.
There were actual messages, like dev messages, in the finished game that never made it out.
I don't think that was this.
I don't think that was Cyberpunk. I think it was something else.
No, but what I'm saying is in the game itself, there were actual dev notes in the game itself.
There were
like
there were like
there were
things that you would see on
placeholder
the
textures. I
screen.
know that, like stuff that was actually like labeled.
But no, Katie's right. There were actually dev notes that they forgot to take out. Like, we need to put this asset here, and like, yeah, like it's. I think actually at the end of the game, like during the credits, there's like a there's like a dev note in there, and it's like, we need to place X asset in this location. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, Jesus Christ, guys, how do you fucking screw the pooch on this?
I will also mention or kind of chime in on what Britt said, like the whole stuff about like people blame like, well, you should have played it on PC. It was such a like it was such a, because I saw people saying that, and it pissed me off because it was like it brought up a topic about like privilege, and it's like, you do realize
Absolutely.
that there are people that do not have access to PC gaming or next gen consoles, because they're like it was wild, because it was just like people that were just like defending it, and like it was like, oh my gosh, are these people fucking paying you? Like, what? Because they were like, well, yeah, it runs poorly on PS4 because they shouldn't release it on PS4 right now, and it runs. First of all, there were people that were having issues on PC, first and foremost. Second of all, even if it wasn't, it doesn't matter, because it's a privilege. Literally, the reason I got my PC was through crowdfunding. Could I afford my PC now? Absolutely, because I have a great job. But it was something that I ended up, my community had to convince me to start like a thing for it to help raise money to get my PC. That's why I was kind of later to the party than everybody else was. So it's like, people do not have access. Not everybody has access to PCs. Not everybody has access to even next gen consoles, because it just now became, due to like COVID and stuff and the slowdown in manufacturing, we just now got to the point where people like the sort of the console like rush is starting to kind of slow down, where people are now able to actually like get consoles, get more people are starting to get PS5s and stuff now, because I got mine at launch, but I mean, a lot of people didn't, because all the scalpers and like bots and things like that. But it literally is a privilege to have PCs and newer consoles. So it was just wild to me. There were so many people like, yeah, it shouldn't have launched on PS4 anyway to begin with. And I'm like, you sound really privileged, and you sound really snobby trying to defend them, when it's like the average, I'm sorry, but the average gamer probably does not have access to a PC or access even to a PS5 right now. So for you to sit there and say that they just shouldn't have worried about releasing it on PS4 right now, like, or at all, Like,
Yeah.
really? That's the hill you want to die on? So it just reminded me of that whole conversation.
And also to kind of piggyback off that, like you can't find graphics cards anywhere right now for PCs. They're all like completely overpriced because my
Yeah.
husband is trying to build a PC because his died, and we were going to use our stimulus money to help him build a PC, but there's no graphics cards, right? Like
The PC
Done.
hardware market is horrible. Like, I know people are having
Yes.
trouble getting like PS5s and Series X's and stuff. It's it's so much worse on PC because
For graphics cards, especially.
GPUs
Because of
particularly.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's
and
combination
NFTs.
of the same shortages that are affecting the consoles, but also bots buying everything up because of all the crypto mining craze picking up again. And as well as high demand from gamers. So like that's another whole issue. Like I feel so fortunate to have gotten a PS5 simply because like you can't get relatively affordable gaming hardware other ways. Like if you
No,
want
you
an
can't.
upgrade right now,
You can't. You really can't.
Listen, even with like and like he said, that's computer hardware in general, because it has been the pandemic. I mean, scalpers were already an issue before, the pre-pandemic, but especially during the pandemic, because listen, it was even bad enough to the point where I'm literally not, at this time I was only affiliated with Logitech. I was not partnered with them yet. But even around, like, I had at this point been working with Logitech for, gosh, I want to say over a year at this point. But like, I'm like, hey, what about this new webcam? Yeah, it's on, like, I literally was on back order. And what's happening is,
yeah, there were so many webcams.
yeah, scalpers are getting webcams because they know that people need them for, and it's fucked up because it's like people need these for, this is not just streamers just trying to get these webcams. These are people that need them for work and children that need them for school. And you're really
100%.
going to sit here and take and buy up all these webcams just to flip them, because that's what they were. You couldn't find them on these sites, but God forbid you go to some place like eBay or Amazon or wherever else, people were taking them and jacking the prices up. And it was disgusting. So it's like, literally, that this is for all really probably forms of PC hardware, including but not limited to webcams and GPUs. Because it's like right now, I upgraded my processor and I got an internal capture card, and I would like a new GPU, but I'm just holding off on potentially getting a connect in at one of these like companies, because I'm like, otherwise I'm not going to be able to probably get one, because I'm not about to pay multiple months of rent to get a new GPU. I'm just not going to do that. I'm sorry. Like, I love gaming, but it's not that serious. I can just boot my Switch up and have damn near the same experience. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
there's a reason I'm not a PC gamer. And I just, I completely agree with you. There is something that somebody just sent to me on Twitter that you guys have to see, because it's hilarious, and I'm going to drop the link to it right here in the Twitch chat. You guys have to go to that and look at this mug.
Are we gonna have to explain it for the listeners?
No, it's just it's all it is. It speaks for itself. It's a mug, and I kind of need this fucking mug.
Oh yeah, I saw this the other day.
Holy shit!
Hold on, let me see it. Hold on.
Okay, I will explain it for the listeners.
Hold on. Let Katie see it.
Okay.
Post it one more time for me.
It's right.
It's like 2 posts up in the chat.
Here it is. Okay, I just posted it again in the.
I had to refresh my thing.
Yeah.
Hold on.
That's fucking perfect.
It is an all black mug that, when there is something hot in it, changes to the guy at the very beginning of Skyrim saying, "Hey, you're finally awake." I love that thing. I saw it the other day.
This is where they used to make that mead with juniper berries. I was sweet on a girl there. Like, did you guys see the speaking of merchandise, did you guys see the Garrus Vicarian body pillow?
I did, and I wanted to fucking buy it so bad.
Yeah, they restocked it today.
Holy shit. Fucking, yeah.
It's time, Britt. It's time.
I know, we gotta.
People were...
And then we'll do a joint stream with just us and Garrus.
People were... So, Britt, if you ever get that body pillow and you don't come on a podcast just holding Garrus the entire time. I'm gonna be very
No.
disappointed.
What I'll do is I'll put Garrus in my chair and I'll just move my microphone
that's
and I'll
good.
talk
Yeah,
and then
no, that's
it'll
real
just be
good.
Garrus here.
That's a really good idea.
I did that with Snorlax one time.
You did do that,
Oh,
yeah.
did you
Yeah, he
really?
did.
Yeah.
With his
Well, fuck.
huge, enormous Snorlax beanbag. How big is that thing, Justin?
It's big.
It's
I mean,
fucking-
it's like a big beanbag chair.
It's fucking.
That's the one I think I thought about getting, but I do have a confession
Um,
since Father John, you're here.
Yes, my
I haven't
child.
played. I have not played a Mass Effect game ever.
Well, there's a perfect opportunity in May.
Well,
So
Be-
sorry.
my
So
child,
sorry.
I can tell you that you're not missing a whole lot.
No. Okay. First off,
John just got
First.
excommunicated.
if you enjoy
I am
Garrus,
simply a
girl,
messenger
you
of
will
the Lord.
enjoy. You will enjoy romancing the shit out of him, and cuddling him in your bed. And if
my
go on,
child, I am simply a messenger of the truth, here to preach the gospel.
You have never,
I
ever,
the truth sometimes
ever-
hurts.
no,
The truth sometimes hurts, my child, but it is the truth. Now go in peace
John,
to love and serve
John.
the Lord.
Hey, can I talk about something before we close up?
Yes, my son.
yes.
So, so today I started on my next review for SDGC. So I have some quick impressions of Outriders, which we were provided a code for review and coverage by Square Enix. So just putting that out there.
Thanks, guys.
Yes. So I originally played the demo when that went up about a month or so ago, and I'm gonna be honest, I really didn't enjoy the demo. I thought the controls felt really rough. There was a lot of really obtrusive cutscenes, like it would fade to black and then stay black for a while, and then like I'm playing on PS5 where the game runs at 60 FPS, and then the cutscenes were 30.
Does it still do the cutscene whenever you jump across a chasm?
I haven't gotten to a quest that lets me go there yet.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah. It's
I
weird.
went to that spot, and like it doesn't let you make that jump unless you have the quest that goes over there.
Okay. All right. That's interesting.
So I wasn't sure, but they actually tweaked a lot of the controls from feedback for the demo. And like now, at least on the PS5 version, I don't know about the PS4 version or anything, so I can't weigh in on that. But like now, the transitions in and out cutscenes are much cleaner. They actually run at 60, like the base game does, so it's less jarring, jumping between frame rates and stuff. But the core game, and I also chose a different class than I did in the demo. In the demo, I chose the Pyromancer, where you one of their main abilities, like the game's a cover shooter, but like one of their main abilities makes them stand up and then just like send out fire, but like it pulls you out of cover every time and you just get shot and stuff. I really didn't enjoy the demo. I'm playing now as the Trickster, which has time magic, and it's very cool. Like one of the abilities, you have a sword that will cut through guys and then they just turn into a skeleton and then explode.
That's how I want to
you have
go. That's how I want to
You
go.
have another ability. You have another ability that like it creates this dome, and any bullets that come in get slowed down in time. So like there have been times where like 10, 15 guys were like unloading on me, and I put it down, and then it's just like all the bullets flying Matrix style in it, and any enemies inside of it get slowed down while you move at normal speed. I'm just having a lot more fun with it. I still have a lot of issues with the writing and the art design and stuff. I'll elaborate on that after I've played the full game and stuff when I give like more impressions of the review.
Awesome.
But the core gameplay is fun. Like it'll be a fun game for a lot of people to kind of group up with some friends and just shoot some stuff and ignore everything else.
Again,
I'm having more fun with it than I expected.
That's awesome. That's awesome, dude. I'm looking forward to your final thoughts on the game as well. I just want to point out that like whenever it is my time to go, I just want to turn into a skeleton and just fucking explode. That would be so
Dude,
badass.
The the actual like animation is really cool. Like their armor and skin burns away as they turn into a skeleton.
That's what I want
and
to
then
have
it
happen to me.
explodes.
Yeah, and
Good time to take my last sip of coffee.
it
when
would
you
be
said that.
so cool. It would be so cool to just do that. Like I originally.
So can I ask you this? Oh no, go
No,
ahead.
no, no, Katie. No,
Finish
Katie. I
your dream
guarantee you.
death.
No, Katie. I guarantee you, whatever you have to say is far more interesting than what I'm going to talk about. So
Oh,
please.
stop
He's
it.
right.
No. I
No,
was
he's
Can
right.
confirm.
Brittany's still
I was
salty.
gonna I was gonna ask Justin, what would you compare? Because I had been seeing it and like I didn't know a lot about it. So but I heard it was like a looter shooter and I was a real big division player. And
Oh, you'll
but
like
I
this. You'll like
okay,
it's
because I'm like debating because I can get a code for it, but I'm like,
if
what
you like
like
if you like Division, I think that's a good frame of reference. It's also, a third person cover based shooter, but you just have a lot
Mhm.
more like fantastic abilities than like the Division in like sci-fi setting and everything. But like
Okay.
gameplay is very like heavily influenced by like Gears of War and stuff. It looks and feels and is written like a 360 era game a lot of the times, but it's fun. And
Okay.
it is kind of weird though, because it's not a game as a service. It's a lot more like Borderlands, where there is just the full campaign that you go through, get loot, and then they have like challenges within it. But it's not like Division or Destiny that's going to be constantly evolving.
Who's
So
the developer?
People Can Fly. They made Bulletstorm.
Oh, I remember Bulletstorm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, doggy. Who's the publisher?
Square Enix. Yeah, they were the ones that provided us with the code.
Nice.
So yeah,
I might have to check it out then.
Yeah, the demo I know did really, really well for them, and I remember playing it and being kind of baffled because I had a very negative impression from the demo. But the final game has been really enjoyable. It's very much a turn your brain off and play kind of game, but like for the people that just want to, grab a group, blow some stuff up, it's fun.
That's awesome, dude.
Okay.
That's awesome. Oh look, it's Beignet. He's like get me the fuck out of here.
It's actually pronounced Biegnet.
Biegnet. Yeah.
Oh my
I
God,
think
no,
you're-
it is
I think
not.
You're
No,
right
it is
about
not.
that. It's Biegnet.
Finn, come
Biegnet
on.
is Finn. Once you drop a dab for Brittany, you know how she loves dabbing.
No.
There you go. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. So, what a way to.
I want you to know.
Oh, she's gone.
John, I want you to
We
know
drove her
I
off.
am
Now we can-
desperately training Anna to learn to dab so that when she pops
right.
up on the show, she'll
As
just do a little baby.
As a servant of the Lord, I'm sorry, but I can't condone that. That's too far for me.
Told
but
him to
we're-
do it.
Wait,
You told him to do it.
I'm sorry, my child, but God was speaking through me, his servant on earth. Just like my words on Mass Effect are not. That's not my personal opinion. It's
Oh,
simply the word of the
God.
Lord. But with that, we will go ahead and wrap it up here. Katie, this has been a blast. Thank you so much for joining us.
It was
Of
really fun. Please come
course.
back.
Yeah, please come back. Don't. Yeah.
I will come back anytime. You just tell me when and I'll be there.
What we need to do is we need to do another Phasmophobia stream at some point. That was a good time.
And not go to the asylum.
And not
yes.
go. Yeah. Who was it that got stuck in the basement?
was
Was
fun.
that you, Katie, who got stuck in the basement? and
Yeah,
couldn't
I
play-
had to go get her out.
Yes,
Remember?
Yeah,
Get
that was Katie. Brittany's like,
Um,
fine, I'll go in and get you. And that was like that basement was fucking nerve wracking. Fuck
John.
Well,
that.
like
John,
before we
Britt.
end,
Hold on, Finn.
I was playing with friends recently and they're new to the game and they wanted to play the asylum really bad and I was like, y'all, no, and they really wanted to play. So we went and played. And I was like, we're gonna play it once and I guarantee you're never gonna want to play it again. And like 30 minutes in, they were like, oh, this level's awful. We're never gonna play it again. And I was like, thank you. I tried to warn
It's really
you.
bad. Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah.
It's
it
such an
is. It really
innovative
is.
game, but the asylum just sucks. Finn, please.
I just want to point out that someone in chat said for Brit to bless me, Father, for I have finned.
That
And I am living for this now. I will use that phrase unironically
that's
for the
actually
rest
one
of
of my
my
really
days.
good friends, and I don't know if he's one of my really good friends anymore.
I
Seriously, Chrono Target in chat, you do not know what that post has unleashed on us. We will never hear the end of it.
I have transcended.
now
is
I can
good.
see, but see now since I'm an ordained priest of the podcast, I can say
That's his wife. That's his wife who just said that.
Wow. Well, you know what? I think it's brilliant, and I can now say tell me of your fins, my child.
Yay.
All
Reveal
right,
to me your
well-
fins.
All right.
So she's gone again. All right. Katie, once again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute delight to have
Of
you
course.
on.
Thank you for having me.
You are a delight. And where can people follow you and find you on Twitch for those who don't know?
You can find me anywhere, Twitch, Twitter, any of that. Pikachu Lita, that's Pikachu, and then LITA at the end. Same across all platforms. It was a delight being here. And like I said, feel free to invite me whenever, and I will make time for it.
Awesome. And with that, I'm also, by the way, going to finish my Devotion stream on Saturday at 8 p.m. I'm really enjoying Devotion, of course, being the game from Red Candle, the developers of Detention, the really, really cool Korean horror game. Of course, this game, Devotion, was banned by the Chinese government, and thus it was removed from Steam and GOG at their demand, but they are now selling it directly from their website, and it's extremely atmospheric and extremely good so far. So I will be finishing my stream of that on Saturday right here on twitch.tv/official SDGC. And to everybody who joined us, thank you so much for putting up with our bullshit tonight. It's been a lot of fun. We have a Patreon. You can whenever we start getting back to conventions, whenever things start opening back up, that is how you can help us get there and provide lots of gaming coverage for you guys on our YouTube channel. And
It's also been how we were able to get these mics
Yeah.
and stuff that we have. It helps us a lot with making sure that we have decent equipment. Helps us with getting to events and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it does help us out a lot so that we can actually bring a lot of stuff.
I just want to make it clear, the priest outfit, that's my money. That's not Patreon money. The priest outfit is all me. Just one sacrifice I make for this, for the good of this podcast. Look, Justin, I'm called to serve. Okay, I follow a higher calling
Someone
now.
stop this episode.
All right,
All
and
right.
with that, everybody,
Wrap it up.
take care of each other, and remember, kindness costs nothing. We will see everybody later.